Good morning, Virginia.
Good morning.
You're great, thank you. You probably cannot imagine how my ego felt, being tenderly stroked about 5-6 months ago when I got that phone call to participate here, to be with you. And my soul felt touched. My soul felt seen, and my body, that incredible mix of happy hormones. I mean, that was just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. It made me drop everything I was doing, such as making cheese and chocolate and polishing gold, counting money, and I ran down the Swiss Alps, covered the valley, passed the plains of France, took a quick dip into the channel, to then crawl across Great Britain, to finally dive into the Atlantic Ocean. And as of then, I was swimming uphill because water level's rising. And finally I made it this morning to the shore. They came with towels and I barely dried off, and here I am. And so I'm very excited to be here. And it's actually, Hillary, they don't look that scary. No, they're fairly pleasant people. We even see some smiles. That's kind of nice, it helps me. And I expect you guys to do your homework. I mean, you brought what you're supposed to be bringing for this keynote. Really?
You're talking to PhD students, so...
You're good, that explains a lot, but you told them what to bring, right?
I did. I told them everything to bring.
So I can't blame you?
Nope.
Then I have to blame you guys, because you were told to bring along all your know-how, all your expertise, your self-comprehension, your consciousness, your self-responsibility, and curiosity. Neatly labeled with your name on it. And they set up those baskets at the entrance, so you would be tossing the know-how, the expertise, the self-comprehension, and the consciousness into that basket. And neatly labeled is really important, because just imagine, after this talk, that you'd be picking up somebody else's self-comprehension and leave with that. That would be an incredible mess. But can you imagine if you had done it, how that would be for us sitting in here? Because we would be sitting here without any filters. Just like kids. Blue-eyed and eager to learn and whatever. No filters, no value system, no nothing. So the only thing we would have is the self-responsibility and the curiosity. And that's really cool. And that's what you should be using for the upcoming 2 days. And now that I can't really blame you, it's a bummer. I was hoping that you would say, no, I didn't do it. But you did. I don't know how it is over here, but in Europe, or in Switzerland, we have learned in the past 5 or 6 years that one can no longer just speak their mind. So what we do is we have those disclaimers. And I would like to add that disclaimer right now, because I was told certain things, for example, that if I would just use foul language, for example, that would be a problem. Despite the fact that if I would be saying, I would be using the S word, in your brains, the rest of the letters would just drop in, so it wouldn't make any difference anyway. So the disclaimer for today is, should you, by any chance, encounter this face, then the person on stage is dead serious. Should you encounter this face, he's cracking a joke. Should it be this face, he's ironic. With this one, he is cynical. And with this one, he's sarcastic. And I beg you, when you see one of these 5 faces, to instantly, from the depth of your being, with all your wounds, with all your values, with everything, to instantly, with the most dramatic reaction, burst out. Or, alternatively, to give this face 2.7, and I'm not talking about 2.6 or 2.8, 2.7 seconds, to see if anything rearranges, like muscular structure or like a smile or a glance in my eyes, because I'm here to provoke you. Having said that, I feel a pair of eyes looking at me, because I was told that if we in Europe use the word provoke, over here it's considered thought-provoking. So whenever I provoke you, it is only thought-provoking. Right. Now I have the disclaimer done. I usually, before I start my keynotes, I want to have a quick survey. It's totally unrelated, but it gives me a feel for the people in here. So for example, who in here would like to live in peace, in health, in wealth, in mutual respect, and in unconditional love? Health, wealth, peace, respect, unconditional love. Let me do the math here. Okay. That is funny. That is funny. Once again, 100%. 100%. I haven't figured out why we don't manage to get along. We all want exactly the same thing. Unbelievable. And it comes to wanting to be unconditionally loved. And I've been thinking about that, mulling over it for a while, and I don't have the answer why it doesn't work. But what I have found out is a question that pops up. Again, I don't know how it is here, but I think it's fairly similar like in Europe. Before the law, in principle, we all have the same rights. How come do we teach our kids to stand up for their rights and fight for their rights? How come don't we tell them, grant the same rights to the next person that you already have? I don't know. That could be, maybe it's an illusion. I don't know. But I think that could be a good key to go about a different world. And I think we're here to create that new world. So moreover, if you have the solution, please share it with me. Because I would like to do something to change the world for the better, and I take any advice, please. Now I got this challenge here. Let's see if that works. No challenge. It will be sparking scientific imagination. It will be highlighting cutting-edge research. It will be led by expert instructors, and you will gain insights from thought-reading analysts. Yes, that's what you're going to be encountering. Again, I have to bounce back and forth to Switzerland. In Switzerland, the media has started doing something really cool. Whenever there is an article or something, they have this really juicy headline, followed by this one sentence that's going to blow you away. And now it comes. There's something added, a little snippet. And that little snippet says, our experts contextualize. Our experts contextualize. I see it like the bookshelf. Put it in there. Our experts. There's so many experts out there. It's amazing. In Switzerland, we have experts for tiger mosquitoes, for nose picking, for butt scratching, for bless you. Even experts on bless you. And now I am supposed to be one of them, standing in front of you, telling you some kind of a gospel, some kind of an expertise. I'm really sorry. I have no freaking clue. I do not know diddly squat, and neither do you. No one on the face of this earth has any idea. We have so much knowledge, we have so much analysis, we have everything, but we have no clue. We are suffering from the same thing. Where do we come from? Where do we go? Where do we come from? Where do we go? That scares us. That's the basic fear we're dealing with. And now, us being experts, you know what we have learned and what we constantly learn? We constantly learn to be marketeers. We learn to be marketeers to sell our skin to the highest possible price. Yeah, okay. Fake it until you make it. I love that. It gives me rashes and goosebumps and all that stuff. Go for that, yeah. At the same time, people are going to tell you, be authentic. Fake it and be authentic, it's kind of... But there must be a reason for that. Anyway, so, this is the situation, and since you have not been doing your homework, at least you have been reading the marketing text, a cool marketing text for my event here. I'm going to read it for you quickly because it's important. A healthy mind is not a crime. Life is the best fast changing the world for the better world. Undergoing open heart surgery sounds like someone challenge, but hey, that is our zeitgeist and the least to be expected these days. Guess someone has to tackle it. Why not me? As we all know. What doesn't kill me makes me strong, or might all of that be a misunderstanding? Should we possibly start to do open mind surgery instead and question questionable science claims that in principle that approach could work? Let's connect and create that better work together. Since failure is the seed for innovation, we have nothing to fear. Write the keynote, yada, 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 don't really know. An open mind is not an empty waste bin. Thank you very much. It was nice talking to you. It covers it all. There is nothing more I can say to all of that, which is actually true. It covers all. Shall we go for beers? Good. No, empty words. They didn't pay me for that. So I'm trying to give you a little more. I think what's important here is healthy life happens. Science. Science, a very important part. All the gibberish I'm telling you is based on science. So if you want to question it, there will be some kind of study somewhere that's going to prove what I'm saying. So that having that disclaimer, everything's not now too. And an open mind is not an empty waste bin. I find very important as well. So we're basically dealing with these three topics today, connecting in all directions. A healthy mind is not a crime. Life happens to the best of us. And let's talk about connection. You have 48 hours, plus or minus, to spend together and to connect. Since I heard there's like an architecture table and there's this table and that table, whatever, all these people speak different languages, so connecting really helps. And the connecting part, we're going to put that into reality right now. And it's going to be scary. And it's going to be absolutely uncomfortable. And you have to go through that with me. And please be scared, because all these people around you know much better than you do. We start by the following. Please get up. Stand behind your chairs. Put these chairs under the table. And as the first thing, I'd like to ask you to show me your right hand. Who taught you that this is your right hand? Nature doesn't know right or wrong or left. Okay, we have established, conventions are really helpful so we can communicate to each other. Now you know where right is. And since you're going to be standing around the table, as of three, turn to your right. You can take it down now, because otherwise, it's going to be hard. As of three, I want you to turn to your right and say good morning to the person next to you. 1, 2, 3. Now we can find out who has a problem with left and right. Because if everybody would have turned to the right, most likely we would have encountered the back of the other person, or at least the cold shoulder. So if we all do, all the time, everything the same way, I think that's not going to solve the problem, change the world. So maybe doing the same thing at the same time is not the goal and the solution. So that's the first thing. Let's do something else since we're standing. And that's going to be ridiculous. What I want you to do is stand with you, both with feet on the ground, kind of get some relaxing motion, and then connect with the person next to you. I know it's very scary, and I know we're coming out of a pandemic, for example, so if people don't like it, you can hook into the armpit or drop elbows. That works as well. Do that. Yes, I like it. Now we're going to go even one step further. Okay? Now we're going to do the didgeridoo. Close your eyes. Everybody around you is even more ridiculous than you are. You're going to do the guttural sound of your body and fill that room with didgeridoo. Try it. Wow. Keep going, play with your voice up and down. Feel your stomach and fill it with air. Don't drink while singing. Okay, thank you. Shake out your arms. And now look around. Look at these wonderful people. Look at those strange faces. They have noses. They have eyes, they have mouths. And they're really, really weird and wonderful and unique. And these are the people who would like to be respected and unconditionally loved, just, like you. And all of these people are scared. I say it once, okay? It's not going to be recorded. Scared shitless. Because they have to live a life, a full life. So these people will be hanging out, and you will have the chance to meet them. Have a seat. You will have the chance to meet them, you will have the chance to mingle with them, and you have the chance to connect with them. And I beg you to try something different today. Try to show interest. Try to show interest, but not in a banking sense. Don't go for interest. Don't go for return of investment. Go for meeting the person because of the smile, because of the reflection of the smile, because of the openness. One day down the line, you're going to be meeting these people again, somewhere. It's like, oh God, what was it? Was it Taylor Swift concert? Oh, what was it? What was it? He said, no. It was Sea Grant. And then you have an open door. And the open door is not because I'm the expert of such and such, but because we had a laughter. And we admitted to each other that we appear more secure than what we are. And just to let you know, I was chicken to get up here. And the heartbeat was true. And now I feel comfortable. It's kind of cool. So go show interest, and you will gain interest. Goes around, comes around. Doesn't matter. And talking about interest, most of the stuff, what I've been talking about so far, is based on common sense. I don't think that you have really learned anything new. Realizing that myself, I was thinking, like, common sense, that's kind of a cool word. That's kind of an interesting word. We use that. We know what it means. And in Switzerland, we use that too. And we also know what it means. And we use it exactly the way you use it over here in English. When I was diving into it, things like common sense, common and sense. What is common? Common denominator, common approach, common is like what in general is being done. So, and again, disclaimer, okay? I'm not judgmental about anything because I'm just talking about language. With common means like what the big bulk of people think makes sense. And that becomes very close to a lot of people going in the same direction, aka mainstream. And then we're very close to zeitgeist, because the zeitgeist from yesterday is not the zeitgeist from today. So mainstream-wise, making sense today is different than 50 years ago. And that's really interesting. And so I said, okay, common sense, I understand. Let's go into Schweizerdeutsch, Swiss German. And how do we call that? And then I found the wording is completely different. In Swiss, we say, gesunder Menschenverstand. Healthy human mind. And we mean the same, like common sense. But the phrasing is healthy human mind. And I was like, what does that mean? A healthy human mind. And I got a picture for you. Who in here has kids? Oh, okay, there are some. Okay. For the other people, these are those little munchkins. It's like souls that entered just recently, and the example we're going to use is one that is kind of past the stage of this and this, so a little older. So we take one of these munchkins and we lift it into, can you see it? Into an empty room, and the empty room is only filled with blocks of Lego, colorful blocks of Lego. What is the munchkin doing? Creation. It's going to lose itself in those blocks. It's really cool. You watch it, and it's like self-sufficient and not thinking about anything. It's like creation, creation, creation. Now, all of us, we slowly sneak out of the place. Here, it's like we would be closing the door here, like you take the knob. So we close it silently, and we go for a spin. Half an hour later, we come back, we open the door silently. There it is, playing like crazy. Again, let's have a cup of coffee. Come back silently. Whoa! Head first in the pile of Legos. You know, one here, whatever. And snoring like an angel. Bing. Back again. You see the imprints of the 8th block and the 6th block or whatever. Doesn't matter. What does it do? It creates, it plays, it does what nature has intended. Surprise, surprise. So it lies in the nature of the human being to automatically recharge when the battery is low. Whose hamster wheel in here has got an engine? Like V8 or something with, huh? Hamster wheels don't have engines. And if it's in the nature of things that we would automatically care for our energy level, to then come back and do what needs to be done, which is creating the world, sharing, being, doing in the moment. How come are all of us here dealing with stress, burnout, training your resilience and practicing to cope with all those things? That strikes me as funny. So maybe we should be looking at those problems that we're facing. And one of the problems is something that has become really fashionable: burnout. Who in here rides motorcycles? Nobody rides a motorcycle. Lift. Where? Oh, okay. Thank God you're here. Okay. So for the people who don't know, that's like a two-wheeler with an engine, has beef. Okay. Who in here knows what a burnout is on a motorcycle? You do? You do? What? Tell me.
Spinning, make the wheels spin.
Okay. For the other ones who probably didn't hear what Paul was saying, thank you for the input, Paul. A burnout on a motorcycle is if somebody gets a motorcycle, puts both feet down, clutch, starting, gas, put the gear in, and then letting the clutch go, full speed, and the wheel in the back is spinning until the tire explodes, catches fire. I would say the hot air is out afterwards. And instantly, that's a burnout. So instantly we know it must have been the faulty material. The tire must have been bad. Or maybe there wasn't enough air in there, or maybe there was too much air in there. Or alternatively, turn it off. Alternatively, there has been some kind of a dork or bonehead that got onto the motorcycle, started the motorcycle, put the gear in, gas, clutch, and had it spin to the point where the tire explodes. Just for practice, try that. Try that, please, all of you. We're all boneheads, by the way. So let's turn that thing off again. That states that there is no burnout except if there is some kind of a driver on the machine that is convinced that it is fun. And it is fun. I'm not questioning it. That it is fun to have that thing spin until on the rough asphalt it's going to catch fire or explode. It's cool. It's impressive. Kind of nice. And so having established what like burnout means, it takes one to drive the motorcycle, me, you, nature, all that stuff, so that burnout is happening. But let's go one step further and let's go to resilience. And you see, I'm generalizing. I'm taking everything to a very simple level, but it helps explaining things or looking at things differently. Resilience. I did some studies. I think the resilience comes from the materials, the studies of material. And the idea of resilience is that you have a material, and depending, it's not working like this. It's like it's the capacity to bounce back after some external, not normal impact. So since everything is material all over the world, you know, every material has a very specific resilience to itself that's given by the material itself. So, for example, if we have this ruler and we test what the resilience is, oh, bummer! Oh God, you should have trained your resilience because that is weak. No, seriously. What kind of rulers do you have in this country? Kind of cheap. So what is the problem of this ruler? The problem of this ruler is that some bonehead holds the ruler with two hands, showing to an eager crowd how its resilience is all the way to the breaking point. Last I checked, the purpose of the ruler was straight lines and measuring. So the material specific aspect of the ruler was absolutely okay. Tension, too much tension because of the bonehead. If we take that one step further, I went into nature. And with permission, I cut this branch of a tree. And now we can do the same thing. We could. I'm not going to do that. And you see that this young, juicy branch will go back to its natural position easily. What's going to happen if I take that thing and I lay it out in the sun for 2 weeks? Resilience, up, down, chill, yeah, down. Automatically, because it's going to dry out. So if I'm checking the resilience, where is the problem? Please don't blame the dork or the bonehead. Please not. The problem is that the branch has been cut off its natural habitat. It got cut off the nurturing tree. Because, you know, we have just encountered a couple of storms. You know what happens with a plant in a storm? It's going to go crazy like this. And then some leaves may be falling off. But after that thing went through, the tree is going to say, yeah. And goes erect. Doesn't have a problem at all. So what can we learn out of that? It lies in the nature of things. It lies in the nature of baseball. It lies in the nature of law. It lies in the nature of, Ladies and gentlemen, how come did we come up with these crazy ideas that we should be above nature? I think we, as human beings, as a species, are part of nature as well. So it's up to us to understand that we could be part of nature instead of doing crazy stuff that will make nature a not really livable place, to then fix it to be a livable place again, and so on. And it starts with you and I. It starts with me doing that. So nature itself would be helping us to get healthy again, because our bodies, for example, I mean, that's a wonder. You get a cut, it's fixed. It's amazing. How did I do that? Okay, so it's in the nature of a human being to recharge automatically. It's in the nature that if we're part of nature, we stay part of nature, that, you know, we would heal easily. So let's see what is the driver that we don't, and how is your Swiss history? I mean, I know 17 76 and Independence Day, and I mean, I've seen all the movies from Hollywood. I care about your history. You should be caring about my history too. 1386, Battle of Sempach, Arnold. Not the one you know. We have Arnolds too. The one you know is on the other side. So the Arnold, Winkeliert, in the morning, in the dawn, faces the troops of the Habsburgians, the Austrians. And it's an armada of knights on horses with long spears, lances. And he looks at his fellow men, and they have like forks, pitchforks, and wooden sticks, and some swords, and whatever. And it's like, that's going to be difficult. Definitely is. And then he has this idea. He goes back into history. He goes back into his value system and his upbringing and his beliefs, and says, yes! He grabs 2 armfuls of these lances, drags them into his belly. Blood is spilling, sorry about that. Blood is spilling all over the place, and in agony, he is still capable of turning around and screaming at his friends, I will create a pass for you. Please take care of my wife and my children, and dies. But you know, his friends were capable of actually going through that ditch and take the Austrians from behind, and we were the winners. Really cool, super cool. You know, he didn't survive, but he made it into history books. So he wasn't happy anymore, but he was right. He did the right thing. A different story, more of your history. Who's familiar with Matrix, the movie? Yeah, seen it. Okay, 1 is great. The other 3 is for making money, but 1 is really great. Do you remember that scene on the rooftop where Agent Smith is like firing like crazy, and we have Neo? What does he do? The bullets come. The bullets come like crazy, and with the power of his mind, he is capable of dodging the bullets easily, no problem whatsoever. And with the power of his mind, he even does this: stare, bloop, 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 bloop. All the projectiles fall to the floor. He survives, saves the world, and survives another 4 rounds of Matrix. And he looks much cooler in his sunglasses, being Keanu Reeves in the long coat. So in comparison to Swiss history, he did what was necessary to change the situation, translated Arnold, took the situation personally. Keanu, Neo, didn't. So with the mindset, he was able to change things, interact with things. So it seems there is a chance that we could change the problem of the spinning wheel. Maybe we should go one step further, or maybe I think we should. And that is this thing here. I teach a workshop in Switzerland and in Germany that is called Survival Skills for Creative People. And what we do there is, for 2 days, we face all our worries, all our fears, all our things that are nagging in everyday life. And we talk about them, and we try to find out, where lies the source of all the problems. And on the second day, I have them collect all the fears we've been talking about. We gang them up, we create a list, we go through the list by them explaining to me what that fear is we just wrote down. And then the answer comes, and I was like, yes, I understand, makes a lot of sense, but what fear is behind that fear? And what fear is behind that fear? And what is behind that fear? And what do you think is the one fear behind every fear that we listed. Suggestion? What fear is the base of all the fears that we're dealing with? Come on. Come on. Death? No. No.
Fear of self.
Again?
Fear of self.
Explain it.
I mean, we're all capable of doing good things. We're all capable of doing bad things.
Yeah.
Right? So it's fear of controlling yourself, your mind, what you can do with your mind.
Okay, so controlling yourself, why would there be a need that you control yourself?
You're part of a society, right?
Part of society, yeah, okay. And so if we're part of society, what fear, you're that close, what fear lies behind it?
Failure.
Again?
Failure.
Failure, if you fail, yeah, I know that thing, like I heard that in my lifetime a lot of times. I could have told you, but you didn't listen. So it boils down, the fear behind everything is not being loved, hence not belonging. Absolutely amazing. Behind every fear. And when I'm talking fear, you know, most of you scientifically inclined people probably say, yeah, but. So let me ask you the question, do you know the difference between fear? Oh, I love those looks. It's not a problem that I'm Swiss at the translation thing. There is a purpose behind this question. And the purpose behind this question is because science defines two types of fear. And I'm very simplifying it. The one type of fear is the following. Should the saber-toothed tiger enter this venue right there, right now, every single soul in here would be automatically, without wasting any seconds, run for cover, because we have this wonderful tool inside of us that is called stress. Fight, flight, freeze, play dead, become meal of the saber-toothed tiger, because he has a right to eat as well. So if the bus is approaching you with 65 miles an hour and you're in the middle of the street, hardly anybody of you will be thinking, to be or not to be? That's the... It's not going to happen. You're going to jump, your system's going to jump out of the way. So this fear, we can neglect, we can push it aside. The second fear works as follows. There needs to be an impulse that triggers the visualization of a potential non-existing saber-toothed tiger that might, by any chance in 50, 100 or whatever years, appear at my doorstep and give me enough reason to worry about the whole thing, despite the fact that he died out 10,000 years ago. And my system has the same outpour of hormones like if it was actually entering this room. So that's the difference of the two fears. And if we wheel back with the second one, there is an impulse that triggers that thing. And the impulse we could visualize as a container with virtual information in there. To explain, if this was a crystal glass, very expensive, and I pour water in it, it becomes a very expensive crystal glass water glass. Since I'm standing on a concrete, imagination, concrete stage here, what would happen if I'd be dropping this glass of water here onto that concrete? Slight tilt to make sure it's going to happen. It's going to burst into a million pieces. What happens to the water that was in the glass? Ideas? It's going to spread, it's going to dry, it's going to sink in the ground, it's going to evaporate, you name it, but it's going to be gone. If I was not a Japanese wabi-sabi artist with tweezers and tons of time, taking every single splinter and kind of glue it back together to then with gold leaf make it a vessel again, will this glass ever be the same container again? No. Let's go back to the thought. A thought is nothing but a container with virtual information. How come? How come are we not taught in kindergarten, at home, in school, that we should not be caring about the virtual content instead of the invisible container? Just imagine what you can do if your monkey mind is going crazy. And I mean, I mean, my whole body's in stress. If I'd be saying, oh, you're just a thought, clip. You're just a thought, clip. You're just a thought, clip. You're just a thought. You know what's going to happen? After 250 times you're going to say that, the brain is going to say, oh, I'm not going to be dealing with this shit any longer. No, so I'm done with it. And it's done. There is no problem in your head. And if you don't believe me, two things. Who's doing meditation? Yoga, meditation, things like that? Okay? Certain people. That's what we do in yoga. That's what we do in meditation. We try to calm the monkey mind. So we focus on that. And for all you non-believers in this room, in regard that this is possible, I hand you now the perfect solution. Rush hour, next time, public transportation. You're sitting in your seat, monkey mind is going crazy. You can't deal with it anymore. The place is filled. Jump up and scream, raspberry! I promise you, the stuff that you've been worrying about is the least of your problems in the middle of this rush hour vehicle, because 67 people are going to stare at you thinking, so it is not a cool idea. It's a practical. I said, wouldn't it be great if we would be learning that in kindergarten? So I guess we have the problem that, given the fact that we have to be educated to the point that we're at our age now, and self-sustainable and grown-ups and having to deal with all the stuff, that they teach us great ideas, wonderful ideas. One little example is, for example, it's like, oh yeah, on Sunday, we're going to go to Grandpa and Grandma. Okay? It's great. Looking forward to it. When you get there, please give him a big hug. Kiss him on the cheek. And then when we're at the table, please behave. Don't fart, don't burp, don't swear, and don't just like walk off until we tell you to. Meant well, no complaint is necessary. We have to learn rules. But what we tell our kids at that moment is like, you're not enough. You're not enough yet. Once you've done this and this, then you will be enough. Which means that we're constantly outside of being. I'd love to be in a society that is based on being. We are in the society that has the idea of becoming. We're never enough. Now, going one step further and saying, if we would have established a society that would be working like without fear, how would that be? We would have a culture of fearlessness. That would be so freeing, because then we would unconditionally be loved. We could do what we needed to do. We would be able to grow into what we want to do. And that could economically be very helpful. I give you an example. In the late 90s, this molecule was developed by a pharmaceutical company that had the idea that they wanted to have a pharmaceutical against heartache. Okay? But not this one, rather this one. That stinging pain in the heart. So they gave the team the job to find a substance that would lower blood pressure and get rid of that state. And they did everything that was necessary. They were very successful. They did testing on animals and then they did testing on humans. And on humans, it didn't work. Somehow it didn't do what was intended to. And so after a while, the person in charge said, okay, stop it. We're wasting money, we're wasting time. We're going to cancel the whole program. That's not going to be any good. A little voice somewhere in the back of the room said, I feel a little ashamed to say so, but I had contestants, mainly male ones. They had a very interesting reaction to that blood-lowering pressure-lowering substance. And the product is called sildenafil. And sildenafil happens to be the content of that wee little pill everybody is talking about. Imagine if Pfizer, back when, had a culture of fear amongst their staff. The person would have never dared to raise his or her hand and say, I have that realization, I have that feedback. So they would have lost billions monthly. So I think, living without fear probably is a good idea to do. And living without fear brings us to living. Beginning and end, called lifespan. Who in here knows exactly, to the second, when you will be here? I don't. Who knew exactly when he or she was meant to be coming? Not when the surgery was planned. So we have a time span, and that time span is nothing more than an enjoyable loan. Life's nothing more than a timely, limited, enjoyable loan. And who's in charge to make the best of that loan? Me. Just me. And I think it works the same for you guys. So use that. Use it. And to visualize what I mean is like, you take a candle, you light the wicks, and the flame will slowly, softly burn down, given how much wax is on that candle, until it has reached its endpoint. And now the alternative version is, we take that candle, like this, and we turn it 90 degrees, light it here, and light it here. Consequence? The two flames are going to grow towards each other a lot faster than when we would start on the top, because lots of the wax is going to drip off, melt off, and cannot be used as a source for all your energy. Who told this system here to change 90 degrees? And who is responsible to change that back? And what happens when you change it back? When you change it back, that flame down here automatically goes out. And that's the chance that we have. And this is our life. So it's up to us to make the best out of this lifetime and be self-responsible for all the action and check out the issue of fear. So I'd like to wrap that up and turn in the page. Let's quit being experts. Let's quit being experts and pretend and fake it and whatever. Let's open our hearts and show interest in the next person. We are trained differently, I know, but that's what we can do. So I wish for all of you to do that, especially take that practice for the next 2 days and open up to people that you think, this person's not going to like me. No, it's not going to like me. Say, I don't care. Hi. and see what happens. Use that. Fear does not exist. Fear does not exist. Fear is being created. Grab that thought. Drop that thought. It's in your responsibility. And I know that I can toss that out lightly. It's a process. But that's what I do with my students. It's possible. And you get the heartbeat anyway. But once that heartbeat is over, you can open up and you can smile at people and you can have laughter and joy. So grab your thoughts. And the third, life is an enjoyable loan. Use it unconditionally. As in, use it up. And as in, don't put conditions on life. Life is going to happen. Life is going to do what life has to do. The question is, what am I doing with this lifetime? Before I let you go, I decided to dare myself. Because it's easy for me to preach, and you guys have to listen to what I'm saying. So I will be exposing myself right now, and I need your help doing so. Can you do that? Try it. Keep it up. When I got here, I was naked, top to toe. Did I mind to be myself? I would say no. When I leave, they'll dress me in a gown that shows the perfect me. Will that match my faded footprint in the snow? Since I got here, I've been told what's right and wrong. I've been trained to show the world that I am strong. So I aim for recognition, fame and fortune is my mission. Only better's good enough to get along. Since I leave with no means, and I came with jelly beans, help me, don't I have already what it's gonna take? Are you serious that to pretend is meant to create a happy end? What's with all my lifetime wasted, my old friends? So then look at me again before I go. I am through with putting up a phony show. 'Cause if everyone keeps saying I must stand up for my rights, think again, we're all just naked top to toe. Thank you very much. Please have fun. Please meet people. Please enjoy. And don't do anything right. Mess it up. Thank you.